reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman.
This isn't how this works. There was one redaction out of over 4,700. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is...
Things are not looking good for Pam Bondi. She's being accused of being an integral part of a much larger cover-up regarding the Epstein files, and Representative Thomas Massie just took her to school.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name. And you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there.
Negligent.
The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victim's survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this.
Of course
now, your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking.
Whoops.
Not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document?
There is going to be someone likely to be the fall guy regarding this whole incident regarding redactions. Someone is going to have to take the heat for this.
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr. Chairman. This isn't how this works.
Pam Bondi is absolutely. She doesn't understand that when you're going through this process, when he reclaims his time, you have to stop speaking. That's actually the rules of engagement. She has the brain of a bird.
It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Yo, the eyes popped out on Massie. The intensity is increasing. 40 minutes, but after the fact that Massie started to put the heat on her. That's exactly what happened.
There was one redaction.
She's laughing out of nervousness.
Listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
That's called the deflection. So whenever, and she does this multiple times. This is a live stream that just happened. But as soon as things go pear-shaped for her, she immediately deflects, and she actually uses that term ad nauseum. She goes, Trump derangement syndrome. Okay. Instead of addressing what's actually being said, she deflects.
He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Calling him a failed politician is also silly. He's a representative, and not to mention, he's really kind of unanimously loved for free thinkers that may be right-leaning, but he's an objective dude, and I think most people kind of mess with him.
Restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None.
Okay, beautiful. So now he's pulling up a video of Perjury Patel, as we call him. Let's take a look at this.
If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about.
Once again, she's deflecting. It is true that this is a multi-presidential, multi-decade cover-up. There's no doubt about that. And it's been running for, again, multiple presidencies. No one's arguing that. But again, not addressing her responsibility in this small chunk of time is unfortunate.
Garland,
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger
when
than
you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden.
There we go.
Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at what
transparent-
point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it
Time is
back on
up.
the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them.
Okay, personal jabs, attacks, deflection. Once again, I'm beating a dead horse, but we can see the psychology with this woman. She is a rat, an absolute rat. And anyone who can possibly survive in this role, especially as a woman, right, with not as much testosterone as us, you have to be a psychopath to take this job on and to be good at it. Not to say that she's good. She's terrible. She's a great liar, though. Just a personal attacks. This is a terrible look. Someone that's supposed to be in her position should not be behaving like this.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering.
I don't think she likes you.
Lady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
Let's go.
All right. This is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely
That
redacted.
shit's so
Even when you go
comical.
to look at
Without
them,
objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims.
Of victims. Wow.
I'm submitting a letter from AG Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're
objection.
still.
Ooh, she didn't like that one. You didn't like that one, Pam. I know you didn't. You see the eyes trail, that exhale, that is not a good feeling. She's being caught red-handed, absolutely. She knows that Kash Patel was keeping information from her, at least initially.
Chairman, are we going to
I'm
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
I wonder if one of those people is Dan Bongino, the king of podcasting. He's like 75 years old, shadowboxing like a moron.